Hi everybody, David Natoga here, talking about something that I really don't have any authority about talking about, and that's, the fighting game community and fighting games as a spectator sport. Well, more of the spectator sport, not so much the fighting game community itself, because, hey, I'm not a member of the fighting game community, and I, just kind of watch. I don't even know why. I definitely don't have any authority in talking about this, really, and I don't know, yesterday I just got a big need to kind of talk about it. And in the background, I just have some Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because it's just a stupid fun game to play, and it's entertaining enough to watch because it's flashy and all that jazz and stuff, especially when you got Phoenix Wright on your team. Oh, I'll get into Phoenix Wright later. All the characters and so on. But, just something to watch, at least. And something to at least show that, hey, I am not an expert at this damn game. Or any fighting game. Honestly, my fighting game experience is very, very limited. I've only played a few games throughout my life period. Starting with, Clay Fighter on the Super Nintendo was, my first fighting game that I actually owned, and we didn't play it very much. It's that, and Soul Calibur 2, every match that I would win, I just win by spamming, Link's B-throw and his bat swing. And getting ring outs all the damn time. It's the only way I'd win those games, Super Smash Brothers, that doesn't really count. Just kind of fell out for a while, and, a year or two ago, I was kind of getting an urge to kind of get into fighting games, considering that, you hear about the, tens of thousands of people who play and watch fighting games everywhere, across all consoles and throughout all history and stuff, and, it's well, it's interesting to watch, and it's kind of fun to play every once in a while, and it's not like I had any arcade experience as well. I mean, the closest ones, there were only two of them within an hour's drive away, and they were both pretty piss poor. And nobody would ever go to them, and it's not like my family ever really had the money to go wasting at the arcades an hour away on a regular basis, and I know everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. When anybody from the actual fighting game community is going to start watching this, they're going to tell me I'm a friggin' idiot, and if you're going to say anything bad, which I know you probably will, just send it to my, my Twitter account, hashtag #EatADickDave, or whatever. I guess. Give me any reason to use my Twitter account for once. It's something that, as a spectator sport, has been really interesting to watch lately. I mean, I haven't been observing it for a long time, and most of my exposure is through Maximilian, his YouTube channel, Miles923, who does a lot of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He does a lot of Street Fighter 3, and he's done Soul Calibur 2, and a bit of Persona 4 Arena, and Skullgirls, and a bunch of other different games. And I like watching his channel because of how easy it is to get into watching his stuff, and that's the topic that I want to discuss, because it's from somebody, on the outside looking in, and just what makes it fun to watch. Here on the screen, here, with X23 bouncing around everywhere. She's a very flashy character to watch, and, she's pretty spam-friendly for her very, basic moves and stuff, which makes it interesting enough to play, and it's interesting enough to watch, but really, watching me bounce around, fumbling these basic combos is not... there's something about watching all the moves and stuff, and when you see somebody button mashing on X23, it looks kind of flashy enough because you can see the attacks and kind of things that come out every time you see her cross swipe. But when you see some of the really technical combos that somebody can do, somebody good and who knows how to play fighting games can do with X23, those combos are really interesting to watch. To start off with, when you're just looking at fighting games, and it's the first thing you're ever gonna notice, it's just, oh, that looks kind of cool, I'm watching this combo, and oh, it's pretty dang long, you're getting 50, 60 hits, that's kind of cool. Woo! And everything's all the pretty lights and the flashing sounds and boo bah wee blink blink. And that's good to start off with. But it's not always people in the fighting game community, you know exactly what I mean when I say it's nothing like that at all. And I only say that because I have gotten to the point where I can observe it. I can't do it myself, and I can't call it out exactly, you know, every little detail that's going on. Like, I'm not, like, if I'm watching, you know, a player pull off a Dragon Punch D going into a magic combo with a launcher and resetting it into, you know, I can't pick out all that stuff, but I at least I get a better appreciation for knowing when they're doing different combos and when they pop a launcher and when they don't and stuff. That's mostly due to a lot of the commentary that you hear. You know, because we have no experience actually playing the game, we can't pick those out. A lot of times the commentators, you know, kind of have to indicate that stuff. And even players who do know what they're doing, you know, how to play the games and can see a lot of that stuff, will miss things every once in a while. And so when a commentator, you know, when someone's calling off a game and they kind of point out something, oh no, he wanted the reset because he wanted to save his meter to take out this character. Well, okay, I didn't even notice his hyper meter or his super bar or, you know, his astral heat or what have you, depending on what game you're playing. You know what's funny is a lot of watching like fighters is a lot like watching tennis. Because it's literally two players going at one another in this very small field, arena, stage, there's a good word for it. Because, you know, a tennis court is basically just a small stage, which with you watch, you know, there's two sides go at one another. And then if you're like watching singles is going to be like watching Street Fighter 2, whereas watching doubles is going to be like watching the Tekken Tag. You know, where it's still two sides that are right next to one another, and there's not like, you know, 12 different people on each side to create this big mess of a whole bunch of stuff going on that you can't follow anything. Like, you know, it's not like you're watching football. One of the things that I like about fighting games as a spectator sport as opposed to tennis as a spectator sport is how commentators are able to talk throughout the entire matches. You watch a tennis match and you have no idea what the hell is going on. When you're watching it on TV, because if you don't care about tennis, you're not going to go to a tennis match. Just like you guys can say, you know, if you don't care about fighting games, you're not going to go to a tournament that's 3 or 4 hours away. And so you need, you know, because it's on TV, it's much more a casual experience where just, you know, you can flick channels, come across it, and oh, this looks mildly interesting. And that's something that I like about the fighting game community and watching videos on YouTube and watching Maximilian play through all these different games, as whether he's doing live commentary but whether it's that or whether it's, you know, where he's doing replay commentary, where he discusses all the things that go on during the games in the background. It's something that makes the game much more understandable and appreciable from a casual standpoint, because you don't have the experience to know exactly what's going on. You need somebody to point it out for you until you can recognize it visually. And it's something that I notice. It's funny, actually. I was watching some video of a money match from, I think, Evo 2010, a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 between a guy named Clockwork, who apparently had been playing forever, had not played in quite a while, and another guy, Nexus or Nova, or I think something that began with an N. And this was when I was first getting into watching fighting games and watching matches. And there was a couple commentators there. One of them was kind of doing all right, kind of calling off different things, you know. Oh, Clockwork, you know, he's playing in this sort of format, you know, in this kind of fashion where he's playing, you know, trying to get back, and he's trying to use his assist a lot, or not to use his assist as much, and he's having trouble getting to this. But this other player who's been playing, Neo, that's what it was, Neo versus Clockwork, I think is what it was. And Neo is, you know, he's getting in there, he's playing in the new school style and stuff, and I was like, oh, I can kind of understand that. And then there was this other guy who just kept, oh no, that was wrong. Oh, he shouldn't have done that. Oh, that was a dumb move. No, he can't do that. He shouldn't be. That was wrong. You don't. He was the worst commentator I'd ever seen, and I was calling off. I was like, it's a pretty cool match, and it was kind of, you know, these two commentators were nice, but whoever the hell this other guy is, he sounds like a bumbling idiot. He either doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's just an arrogant jerk, because he just keeps saying that everything's wrong, as if he's right and knows the answer, and just being smug about it. And then it turns out that apparently the guy was Justin Wong, who, to my knowledge, I haven't done as much research and watched enough of his videos and stuff to see how good of a player he is and compare him. Of course, I don't even know the other players really to compare them, you know, how they all compare to one another, but, you know, everybody's starting to get on my case like, this guy is one of the best, you know, players of the fighting game community ever, and you should have respect. I'm like, dude, he's playing. I admit, I don't know him. Hey, that's the angle that I'm coming from, and this guy is not helping your cause. You know, you guys apparently went through this whole period where fighting games were getting too oversaturated, and not enough new players were coming in, and all the old players started dropping out and stuff, and you need something to revitalize everything, and that guy was not helping, and the way that the fans reacted, all of Justin Wong's dong suckers, or whatever the hell they may call themselves, I guess, I don't know, you know, like the cheeseheads of a fighting game, if Justin Wong was the Green Bay Packers, we'll say. You know, the way that they reacted to it was very off-putting, and I almost stopped watching him right there, and the only thing that kept me in was watching Maximilian play the Online Warrior. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 got me back into fighting games. Well, not back into fighting. I can't really say back into, because I was never really into fighting games, but at least got me more interested in it. When they announced the 12 new characters. You know, like, I knew Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when that first came out, that it was pretty exciting, considering the game had the time span between Marvel MVC 2 and MVC 3 was so large that it took, you know, it was a big deal when MVC 3 came out, and I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. I could understand the appreciation for that it took so long and the game had to evolve so much before this new thing could come in and get you back involved and invested into this franchise. And then when Ultimate came out and the 12 new characters were announced, and I saw Phoenix Wright on there, and I was like, are you kidding me? That is the most stupid thing that you could probably ever do, but maybe it'll work, and I'm kind of interested in seeing it. And then I started seeing videos of it, and I was like, wow, this guy is actually legitimately good looking and a fighter, which is crazy. I want to play this thing. And so I went out and got Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Watching the finals from not Season's Beatings, but another, I can't remember which one it was, but another big fighting scene tournament. And it wasn't Evo. It was after Evo. Evo, Neon Genesis, whatever, shut up. Where they had two commentators, Yipes versus Dalgo? No. So, another Chris G? Chris G. Yipes versus Chris G. And I remember the commentators there were really, really, really good. They were tight. They were on the ball. They were on the ball with everything that was going on. They were able to call off when one player was, was trying to get a reset, keeping an eye on their meter, making sure things spaced out, knowing who to take out first, how they wanted to take them out, which supers they would want to use. That is what good commentary should be. And, you know, in retrospect, looking at, like, the money match from EVO 2010, I can understand if Justin Wong, you know, is not a commentator, and if that was, like, his first or second time trying to commentate with something that was new to him, and he wasn't able to get a good synopsis of what was going on, and all the things that were going on in the players' heads. And in retrospect, I kind of, you know, take back some of what I said about Justin Wong in that video, but the point still kind of stands. It's understandable. He's a player. He is a player, not a commentator. And that's okay if that was something that he wanted to do, because it's a money match. It didn't really matter much at all, except for the two guys who were playing, and the people who were watching it, who were really into the game. Those kind of things are what really was good about the fighting game community. And that's some of the things that, from a casual spectator view, are really awesome about fighting games and the fighting game community. Is that there are all these little meta ticks that go on in the player's head as they bounce around, you know. you know, if I'm playing Dudley and this guy's on Urian, how am I going to approach him if he's going to try keeping away, and I only have one projectile that's going to do crap damage? It takes forever to, well, not takes forever to throw out, but, you know, it's got a decent amount of startup frames. You know, that's something I never would have known until somebody pointed it out to me. Because I don't play the game. And I think that's one of the things that, from my observations, limited observations, is something that the fighting game community could probably work on. It's just keeping things well-informed for the casual person. Getting people into the game. And not just watching a bunch of pretty flashing lights, because that's going to get old really quickly. You actually have to show people, you know, it's kind of like when you're watching a football game. If you don't watch football, like you can see, oh, it's, you know, two groups of 24 guys, you know, 24 guys on the middle of the field, and there's a ball, and they're trying to throw it, like that. Andy Griffith had an entire comedy bit, a stand-up bit, that was all based around not understanding football. And, you know, that's something that the fighting game community can kind of incorporate more in some of its public view and stuff. It's something that I'd like to see the fighting game community kind of work on more, kind of expose themselves more. Like, to get back to TF2, if you ever watch competitive Team Fortress 2, one of the guys that you want to watch is a guy called Pure. He's been playing competitively for quite a while, and he has such a deep understanding of some of the mental mechanics that go into, like, competitive sixes. He's not only so understanding of what's going on, but he's also very articulate in explaining what's going on. So he does a lot of training stuff. That's probably one thing that you can just do, is just, you know, people who don't know how to play the game are kind of interested in it, and they say, hey, I don't know this game. Well, you can say, that's okay. See, this is why they're doing this. And hey, if you want to play, you know, we'll do a couple pickup matches, and I'll show you a few things. That's why I never play online. If I go online into a lobby that says for beginners only, and all of a sudden we have, you know, a couple third lords, fourth lords, all smacking each other around, and it's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Just sit here and watch? That's not fun. I can't analyze anything on my own. Not much, and it's not going to be enough to hold my interest. What the hell? Set it up for a different title. But every single, for beginners only, every single one, it's for beginners, ends up being filled with a bunch of other players that just want to cock-slap everybody around. And that's diverging a little far from the point. Anyway, you know, that's just the thought of somebody who watches fighting games from a distance. I just think it'd be something that's nice, something that I want to encourage you guys to do. If I don't see it, if you guys do it and I just don't happen to see it and be able to acknowledge it, that's our fault. That's on us, not on you guys. As long as you guys are at least being out there and trying to be proactive and getting people at least interested in watching it, and not just playing it, but, you know, watching it as well, you guys can probably do well for yourselves. And I hope that you guys can. Anyway, that's my spiel on stuff that I don't know about. And let me know how much crap you think I'm being full of. Down on below. Or on Twitter. At Davey Notoga, I guess. Hashtag Eat a Dick Davey. You guys like saying eat a dick, right? Eat a dick. Hashtag eat a dick. Alright. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.